everybody. Hope you all are doing all right. So, another incident. I'm doing this. If he happens to watch this, I'm hoping that he can see, at least from my perspective, why I'm chosen to act the way that I am. And perhaps in seeing how he treats people, maybe he can see that perhaps it's not the most loving way to treat people, and maybe he'll change his ways. I hope he does. But at the very least, it's good for me to get these things off my chest, and that's also good lessons for other people because there's other people that could watch this and be dealing with a similar situation. And if I share something that gives them insight onto how shit went down with me, maybe that can help them avert some type of fucked up situation in their life. And again, it also just helps me therapeutically get this stuff out because a lot of my addiction and just shit had to do with just relationships that I weren't real good relationships, and there's a lot of trauma and pain because of that. So anyway, let me just get into it real quick. Again, while we were up here in Oregon, there was a time when we actually had an older dude who was walking with us, and we'd already taken care of him by we got a motel actually because anyway we take care of him, and the next day he wanted to walk with us, and he was an older guy, so he wasn't in the same shape we were, and we could tell he was kind of like slowing us down and shit. But I mean, I was like, I was okay with it. I'm like, okay, well, this dude's with us, I mean, what are we gonna, if he wants to walk, I mean, I'm just like, three people, that's another person. Like, it's not all that bad. I mean, theoretically, it could be a good thing if we're working on stuff. It's one more hand to help us work on things. Um, but with Josh, he didn't, for some reason, he didn't want, I mean, he was an older guy, so he wasn't really vibing the same way me and Josh were vibing. I was willing to work with it, but for whatever reason, Josh didn't really want him sticking around with us much longer. So, which is fine, but the thing that I had an issue with is like he actually created. He like said he told the dude we were gonna meet him somewhere when we didn't meet him, and it's like Josh did that on purpose. And I don't know. I was in kind of a daze at the time, I think, because I think this was right around when I was walking off a kratom addiction. So my head was a little fuzzy, and we didn't really sleep all that well last night. But I remember being at sketch, and the way he did it was like he was just like setting this thing up, and like he didn't even tell me. He was like, "Yeah, we set up to have this dude meet us somewhere," but then Josh had no intention of actually going there. And I was like, "What the fuck?" So it's like what he did now that I look back at it is he actually set up. He told this dude and told him to meet us somewhere when he knew full long that we were never gonna meet him. I'm like, damn, dog, you really just, and that's another thing that I didn't even confront him on, but I should have, because that's wrong, dude. You should have just told him, if you really didn't want the dude walking with us, you should have just told him straight up, like, hey, man, for whatever reason, I don't think it's good for you to walk with us. That would have been the truth. That would have been the good, Christian thing to do. But instead, he did some subterfuge type shit. And, it was sad, too, because I remember, I think his brother ended up calling my phone because we let the dude use my phone, and he called his brother because he'd gotten kicked out and he was going through shit. So his brother ended up calling us on my phone, and he was worried about him. And I felt bad because I was like, well, yeah, we were walking with him, we were helping him out, and then that's where shit got. And then I realized that we actually had no intention of meeting up with him, and I was like, this is fucked up now. And then I kind of had to tell his brother in a roundabout way that, yeah, we didn't really know where his other brother was, and that we had helped him out, and it was just a fucked up situation. I don't remember all the specifics, but I do specifically remember that because it bugged me. I was like, that's wrong, dude. Like, what the fuck? And another instance of me not stepping up to him when I should have. So that's, even though he did something wrong and he has to own up to that in his own fucking right, I still was in the wrong because I didn't stand up and challenge him on that. So, anyways, just again, if you're dealing with people that do shit like that, that's a serious red flag, and it's wrong to do. And I that's another aspect. Like, if I see somebody doing that, like that's not cool. Like, that's not good at all to do. We shouldn't be doing that to each other. So I don't want to be friends with somebody that's gonna essentially ditch somebody. Anyways, dude, I'm saying this as somebody who doesn't like. I don't like. I'm starting to believe that there's some truth in people that like say that they forget bad things that happen to them, because like the brain doesn't like to know this shit. Like people that have been abused when they were younger, and like they end up like actually like there's They can forget about it without even like trying to forget about it, but like the brain does something to where it stores it in a place to where they don't focus on it because it's so painful. They don't want to know this shit. They don't want it to be part of their reality, but it is. And a lot of times it's in these moments when these types of things happen that, you know, are precursors or are seeds that help other imbalances flourish in people's lives. So I think it's part of my therapy and his too to in one way or another get these things out and squash them. And for me, unfortunately, it's come to a point where I've got to just draw the line and be like, yo, man, no, I can't keep being, you know, friends with people that treat me like this, you know, and it breaks my heart to say it like that, but it is what it is. And there's been a lot of examples throughout our walk together that prove that there has been some fucked up shit that have gone down, and the way that he's chosen to do things is very different than the way I choose to do things. And I hope the best for him, dude, but again, this is another reason why it's just like we're different. We're very different, and I can never do that to somebody like that type of shit. I remember when it happened, I was like, that's kind of fucking nuts. But walking with him, like, stuff is so, he's moving from point to point to point to point to point so frequently, and he changes it up so quickly. And at the time we were both on the streets, it was just like, I'm dealing with fucking getting over addiction. Like, there's just so many other things that felt more pertinent to me. I just let shit go. And again, that's on me. I shouldn't have let that shit go. I should have fucking stood up and talked about things as they happened. So... But anyways, and I feel like he wants me to stop talking about him, but you know what, dude, this is my channel, so if you don't want to listen, you ain't got to watch. But I got to get this shit out, and I have nobody else to talk to, and I also think he needs to hear this shit because he needs to know how he did me wrong. Because I didn't do you wrong, bro. You did me wrong. I'm not trying to be mean at you, but that's just the truth. Like, you did commit things onto me that are in line with transgressions, and you did things onto others that are in line with transgressions. It's my good duty to help call you out on those things that you're doing wrong, just like it's your good duty to call me out on the things that I'm doing wrong. And if you have anything that you need to share with me, you can. I'm not going to hide. If I did anything wrong to you or offended you in any type of a way, please let me know. You know, if you want to send me that, you can. Because that's how serious I am about this shit, because I really don't feel like I did shit to you guys. You know, but you did some shit to me that hurt, dog. When I was there for you. My family was there for you. So, like, this is why I've gotten to this point, in case it's a mystery. And it's like, I feel like it is still a mystery to you, that otherwise you wouldn't be so, like, upset about things. But this is why, dude, because the way you treat people is rather cruel. So anyways, man, I hope you have a good, I mean, that's not all that you are, but it got darker and darker. Like, that's why initially there was still a lot of light and love, so that helped keep things beautiful and good for a long time. But eventually what started to happen is I started to see less and less of that beautiful loveliness and more of him just wanting stuff from me and not caring about me or even the project or following through with things that he said he would do, or even just following through with simple, like, questions I'd ask him. And, you know, then it got to that point to where you know, I stopped giving him money and we didn't talk for like a month, and then he asked me that thing with his mom, and fucking I was like, well, man, it's not about the money, it's about the principle. And then I still inquired about your mom because I still cared about your mom. I still want to make sure that she was good even though I was still in a suicidal state. He ignored me on that, and he told me to take some shrooms. That was his response when I told him I was suicidal, was just take some shrooms. And it's like, you know, dude, I mean, I don't know, that's just to me, that's not how friends should be treating each other. So, you know, I'm sorry that it's ended this way or turned into this, but it is what it is. And again, I'm making these videos with the intent to hopefully help him see the fuckery, the trickery, the wrongness that he's done, you know, and hopefully in seeing that, he can change his ways into good ways, or at the very least, he can at least know where I'm coming from and why. And hopefully maybe I can help somebody else along the way who's dealing with a similar person. Because this is a situation that I think happens to a lot of people that come here with a lot of compassion in their hearts. They end up getting taken advantage of. And it's not right. It's not right to be done. And so if I can help somebody else have to go through these types of things, I'm going to do what I can to help share that good knowledge. So anyways, all right, love you all. Bye.